Have you smiled today? Have you smiled today? Have you smiled tonight? If you haven't put on your smile yet today, it's time. Smile. Are you going through a hard time? Sometimes people tell us to put on a smile when we're going through a rough time. There's a balance, you know. We can get caught up in the whirlwind of our pain, in the darkness that we feel enshrouded in. Or we can try to change our mindset and lean towards the light. But there is a process. Sometimes people will give you pat answers and quote unquote quick solutions, not understanding or ever going through what you have personally gone through, and they can lack sometimes the compassion of understanding. Quick spiritual answers or quick personal help topics of do this, do that, and not learning empathy of what someone might actually be going through. If you haven't gone through it, learn to try to feel and understand what someone might be going to before you're quick to give advice. Living in pain, sadness, grief, anxiety, panic attacks, loss. There's so many different things. Fear. It's easier said than done. And so one of the things that I have wanted to always state is that it's one step at a time. When you're in the dark and it's having a hard time to see your way through, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Today might feel dark, but as we learn the small processes, one step at a time, just that little step sometimes of changing our mindset can have a dramatic impact on our state, our emotional state. Does that mean faking it till you make it? I've mentioned this before. There is a toxic type of positivity, just like there is a toxic type of negativity. There's a balance. Always remember balance. Okay? Balance. Balance is key. So if you're going through hell right now and you're feeling in the dark, I want you to know that there's hope. There's hope for a brighter tomorrow. But you don't give up. That doesn't mean I feel great, I feel wonderful, I feel great, I feel wonderful, and fake it till you make it. But there is an aspect of changing our mindset and our words and our thoughts to more positivity without denying what we really feel inside. It's finding that balance. So when we want to change our energy to more positivity, what is something that we can say perhaps in the midst of the hell that we may be feeling at the moment? How about a simple change of mindset? I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this. Even though I feel like I'm going through hell right now, there's always brighter tomorrows. And there is hope for me because I'm stronger than I think. I'm more beautiful than I feel. And I'm more capable than I believe. And I will get through this. Do you see the difference in between that and saying, I feel great, I feel wonderful, when you feel like hell? You're changing your words You're trying to change your mindset by the words that you speak and to give yourself hope in the midst of the darkness. No matter how dark it might feel, there's always hope. There's always hope. Look for the hope in the moments. Find it, and if it's hard to find, look deeper. What if there is nothing in your life that you feel that you can be thankful for? I can promise you there is. It can be as simple as going outside and looking up. See, I'm thankful for the sunlight. I'm thankful for the trees. I'm thankful for the fresh air. I'm thankful that I don't live on the streets and I have a roof over my head, that I have food to eat. We can compare ourselves. Or instead of that, we can just look at what we do have to be grateful for in our lives. It is not easy going through difficult times. No one said it would be. And people who give us pat answers as if, change your mindset, and just like, oh, everything will be great. Sometimes people give us pat answers. Pat answers don't encourage people to grow. We need to learn to have empathy on people that are going through a hard time. Don't give them pat answers. Listen to where they're at. Help them and encourage them to go on. Now, there's going to be a difference for me in my own life. I know that if I focus on the negativity too much, okay? So whether it's trauma that I have been through, or chronic pain, or anxiety, or loss, I have been learning to teach myself to find the ways in the moment of that intensity of emotion, not to always get swallowed up in it. It is so easy to get swallowed up in it when it's all encompassing and you feel like it's all around you and you can barely find your way. But there's always that glimmer of light. There's always that glimmer of hope that we can find. Remember who you are, that you're stronger than you think. And if we learn to take time to try to change the way we think, and change the way we speak, and change the things that we do, one small moment at a time, we will find that we are gradually moving up the mountain that seems insurmountable, or that we're gradually starting to see more and more light in our lives the more that we take a step out of it. Now, sometimes we can get caught up with all the steps that we've heard to take. Oh, this will help, do this, do this, do that, do this. Over the last 3 years in my journey to really try to self-heal, because in the end, I found out that the only one who could heal me was me. You can't heal me. You can help be a source of healing to my life, no doubt about it. But the healing doesn't come from without. It comes from within. It comes from within. That's where healing comes. Healing comes from within. If we don't change how we think and view ourselves and the life around us, we'll always want someone else to heal us. We'll always want someone else to love us so much that all of a sudden we're healed. That didn't work for me. I tried it all my life. It didn't work. Until I came to the end of my rope. Literally, the end of my rope. I came to the end of my rope. And you know what? That was the best thing that happened to me. It really was. I got my window wipers on. I'm sitting in my car. I don't know how to shut it off. There we go. It was the best thing that happened to me. And you know why? Because it pushed me through to say, I've got to change something about my life to turn off this pain. I realized no one could do it for me. So on became my journey the last 3 years. And I have been the strongest and the weakest, if that makes any sense. The strongest and the weakest I have ever been in my entire life. The strongest I have been inside, and the freest I have been in my entire life on the inside. While at the same time, my physical body that I am in has been reacting the most. Although the chronic pain has significantly calmed down, and I've gotten on top of a lot of that, still constant progress, constant continuing to wire down my nervous system to turn off the fight and flight, where my brain is constantly turning on chronic pain for no real damn reason. One of the things that has come up a lot in my system, the past year especially, has been trauma. Sometimes we don't realize what gets stored in our body for a long period of time. How does that trauma come up? In my case, it has come up in psychogenic seizures. Most people don't know that. So my body has gone through these times. I've had a breakthrough in that. And things are, some beautiful things are happening in my life. But at the same time, there's this stuff that has come up, especially a lot from April through to the end of the summer. And I'm like, my God, what's going on? I need help. And then finally I got to this place where I was able to get a breakthrough in that. And I know that there's still some of that stuff that is gonna have to come up. I have to heal through. It's coming through the body. But my inside state has been the best it's ever been. I don't know how to explain it. Because something is transforming on the inside. Some people may believe, call it the spirit or the soul. Other people might just say something within me. Whatever viewpoint people take, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't really matter. The point is that something has changed on the inside of me. And I am learning to find that gauge, to learn to tap into that and to find the sense of peace and love, and to help calm down the nervous system to heal. And it is happening. There has been a wonderful change the last couple months. I had a seizure in December. I had not a epileptic seizure, psychogenic. There's a difference. It's not a problem with the brain. Psychogenic seizures are an incapability of the brain being able to process too much stress. And so because I had a lot throughout my life. I did have the odd one when I was younger, but I didn't really know what was going on at that time. I only found out in the last 3 years of my journey what in the heck these things were. It's actually only been the last 2 years, last year and a half, I think, is when they started to reoccur. And I hadn't really had one for about 20 years maybe. Before that, maybe even longer. And it was very rare that I would have one. I didn't know what they were. And then after I lost my son, they started to happen more frequently. Not like every month, but every so many months it would happen, you know? And so all of this stored stuff, finally, my nervous system just had enough. I won't get into all the details, but what I want to say is that sometimes we look like we have it all together, but some of us are working through our deep issues too. We might look like we have everything together, but we're all on a journey. And that's why I say it's one step at a time. One step. If you get overwhelmed with all the steps you have to take, sometimes you won't take any steps at all because you're overwhelmed. One step at a time. Maybe your first step is to get up out of bed in the morning. Within that first hour, get out and get some sunlight. Go for a walk around the block. Get out into the fresh air. Let the sun get into your eyes and absorb the beautiful vitamin D and get the cortisol levels regulating in the morning instead of later in the afternoon when they actually become stress chemicals. If you get sunlight within the first hour upon waking up and you get out into the sunlight, if it's full sun, you only need like 5-10 minutes. If it's overcast and full clouds, you might need a half an hour. But you get out and you get into that sunlight. And that will help give you your cortisol levels in the morning instead of later in the day, which causes stress and keeps you awake at night. You could be starting with something simple like that. It could be an exercise routine that you take. It could be practicing mindfulness, learning to be in the present moment instead of stressing about everything that is going to happen or that has happened that we can't change. That has been a huge one for me. I have found myself on this journey for so many years thinking of all the things that I want to do and all the things I want to be and how I want to help bring healing to people, but I'm so broken inside, or I feel like I just can't do it. And you get so caught up with thinking about where you want to be that you're actually pushing that away from you. Because it's always somewhere where you got to go, somewhere where you got to get, somewhere where you've got to be free. And you forget that it's this moment right now. If I can change one moment, and that moment is right now, that's what I can change. I can't change the past. I can't change the future, but I can change my now. I can change my now. Change how I'm thinking right now. Change what I'm speaking right now. Change what I'm doing right now. And if we concentrate on changing the now, we will find that that place that we want it to be, all of a sudden, it's there. Or it starts coming towards us because the very things that we want to be, we're trying to start to live in the moment, what we can be or what we can give in that moment, instead of everything that we want to be and everything we want to give and feel like we're incapable. Just give what you can give right now. And then the next thing you know, what you've desired to become will all of a sudden start coming to you. For me, when I was in severe chronic pain, one of the first things I knew, I wanted to help people. But I knew that I was not emotionally or physically in a place where I could do a whole lot. But what I could do on my walks in the morning was wave to people and smile. That was one little step that I could do, and I did it consistently, and I still do. And you know, now when I go for my walks, I have so many people who will just wave, and they're waving at me going the opposite direction with their hands out the window sometimes, or a big smile on their face, and I'm going through a difficult time, and sometimes they initiate before I actually get my hand up in the air, and they're, you know, and they make my day just like I'm helping to make theirs. It's a little step that we don't think is all that big importance, but you know what? It adds up. And the next thing you know, you're impacting people's day, and you're impacting your own, because now that very love that you wanted to give, it's also being given back to you. It's not always so far out there anymore. We are bringing it here in the moment. So change the present moment. Don't focus on the future. Don't focus on the past. Just change the now. Change the now. And find healing and growth in the now, or strength in the now. If it's just by saying, you got this. It might seem impossible right now. It's just because I'm going through a dark time. But the light is coming. The light is truly within us. We just got to tap into it and believe and see it. That you are beautiful, you are stronger than you think, you're more capable than you feel. And we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. Change the present moment. Change the mindset right now. Relax the mind. Breathe. Deep breath in. Slower breath out. Learn to relax. Learn to relax. Your one step each day could be practicing deep breathing. In through the nose, 3-4 seconds in, hold for a second or two, and then slower breath out through the nose, or you can do it through the mouth. But most importantly, in through the nose if you can. If you can't, do everything through the mouth. But the nose is actually the best because it regulates how much oxygen in and out better. You get more oxygen to the brain. You're also filtering and cleaning out different toxins, because all those nice little nose hairs inside there are meant for blocking stuff out that shouldn't be coming into your mouth. We're not going to get into all that, but any paramedic and stuff like that, they will tell you to try to do it in through the mouth, not through this, because sometimes we do too much inhaling and you can get into hyperventilating, and there's, you know, the nose controls a certain amount that should be coming in, and it just causes more of a relaxation. But either way you do it, go in through the nose if you can, or in through the mouth. It's usually quicker in, and always double the length of time out. So it's slower out, so you get that double length of time. And you constantly practice that. You could do it for 5 minutes, even if you can only do it for 30 seconds. Start somewhere, practice that deep breathing, because you get the oxygen to the brain, and the more oxygen to the brain you get, the more it would help your anxiety to calm down, your nervous system to calm down, and help get relaxation into the body. So start with that. And I just want you to know that you are loved and that you are important. I want you just to feel that there's love. There is love. And whether you believe that to be someone within your family, or if you don't have family or a friend or a relative, and if you say even that you don't feel like you have that, I'm pretty sure most of us have someone that loves us, and we can say we're loved. But if you don't, find that love within. Learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself because you are beautiful. You are beautiful, and you've got to remember that. And if you believe in God or the source of life, whatever your higher power may be, remember, the highest form is love. And you are loved, whether you find that from within your heart, or from loved ones and family members, or whatever way. Just remember that you are loved. And that love, it resides inside of you too. You've just got to tap into it. You got to believe it and pull it up from the inside of you. And when you realize that it actually is there, you can learn to feel that love even within you. But you've got to change your thinking. Don't say, I don't love myself. Say, I'm learning to love myself. Okay? Change that little bit of the words. Don't say, I don't love myself. Say, I'm learning to love myself, and begin to change. Change your words, change your mindset, change how you feel, change what you do. One step at a time. And remember, when you feel like you are in the darkness, remember, the light is there. You just have to open up your heart and believe it and learn to tap into it and receive it inside of you and let that change come. Okay? And regardless of the moments that I feel when I want to share a video like this is because something is welling up inside of me. It's not because I don't go through my days of just feeling, am I ever going to get through this? You know what I mean? I have those days. I have those days often enough, more often than I want. But I am learning that as I change my mindset, my body and my nervous system begin to change too. And it is beautiful. And there is hope, and you can get through it, but you need to start with believing you can. You need to have hope. Hope of a brighter tomorrow. If you don't believe it, just start speaking it. I am learning to have hope. I am learning to have hope. See, you're not denying what you feel. You're not acting like you are something that you really don't feel like you are. You are telling yourself, I am learning to have hope. Do you see the difference? It's a positivity without being fake. It's not a toxic positivity. It's a real positivity. And then as you begin to get to that level, eventually you will learn with visualization techniques and different things, you will begin to learn to feel deeper and be able to say, I feel great, and find a way to get into that inner state of peace and actually mean what you're saying, even though you might not feel it. You'll eventually get to that place where it gets a little easier and you feel it a little bit more, and your words will become more positive, but you're meaning it because you're starting to believe it and visualize it. And then eventually the emotions will begin to line up. But it's a process. Don't forget it's a process, and don't expect 50 years, that's how old I am. 50 years of storing emotions not so well. Or I'll say 40 something because I started late in my 40s trying to change everything. It's going to take time. Okay? Not going to be over in 50 weeks necessarily, or 50 days or whatever. lots of years of doing it the wrong way. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to start doing it the right way. But the more steps you take towards progress and growth, the quicker you will get to the top. Or at least start rising above so that you're not feeling like you're drowning anymore. You're getting your head above water. Small steps. Don't give up. Have a lovely night.